Every month, Anara and I always forget to introduce ourselves. And like without fail, if we're out in public, people think, they'll like come up to Anara and be like, "Are you Chandra?" And come to me, "Are you Anara?" So no. And we're like, "Yes, this is my social security." No. So I'm Chandra. My name's Anar.
Hi.
We are the Crystal Gems. Yeah, and we run this little thing every month, and it's a lot of fun. Every fourth Friday, we sling free ice cream at you. Yeah, and you eat it. It's pretty wonderful to watch as you enjoy it. All right. So yeah, this month was like the easiest month to book because the day, or a couple of days after our previous ice cream, our dear friend who's reading tonight, Janelyn, emailed and was like, "I'm coming through. Let's do this." Yeah, I think it was like at least a year ago that we had Kendra and Janelyn and also Melanie Westerberg. Was it 2 years? It was like 2 years ago. Oh my God. With no concept. They read for Ice Cream Social, and it was a freaking joy. And yeah, to have Janelyn, who has since moved from Austin, just passing through, wanting to read for us again was like an honor. So thank you. So we're welcoming some veteran ice creamers, and that's exciting. And we're welcoming a new ice creamer tonight as well. But let's go ahead and get you started with. Okay, she's gonna. I hope this is quick. Kendra Fortmeyer is the visiting fiction writer at UT Austin and a Pushcart Prize winning writer whose fiction has appeared in Best American Non-Required Reading, One Story, LeVar Burton Reads, like she's still on stage with LeVar Burton. Like, disclose. He retweeted you.
We hugged, it was cool.
It's very cool. The Toast, Lightspeed, and Elsewhere. She is a graduate of the Clarion Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers Workshop and a New Writers Project MFA program at UT Austin. And her debut young adult novel, Hole in the Middle, is available now from Soho Teen and now at Malvern. Her favorite flavor of ice cream is chocolate chip cookie dough. Please welcome Kendra.
Thank you all so much for coming out. Thank you, as always, to Chandra and Anar for hosting this really lovely event. Malvern Books, and so on. I'm Kendra Fortmeyer. I thought I'd start out this evening. I thought about not doing this, but I'm going to do it by telling you guys that I'm on my period. And here's why I'm telling you this. Because at any given time, 1 out of 5 women that you interact with between the ages of 12 and 60 are on their periods, and we never talk about it. Think about what a huge portion of the population that is, and it's just an invisible thing. So anyway, here I am. I am speaking to you as a person on her period, and we're going to do this thing. So here we go. I wrote this story at a time when I was thinking a lot about social media and feeling very weirded out by social media in the sort of way that it gamifies social interaction, and that's really dehumanizing because it turns people into followers. It has people doing provocative but not necessarily great things to chase likes and retweets and etc. And so I was thinking about that gamification and the problematic ways that it affects us as humans, and I wrote this story which is called New Game, and it appeared in the Los Angeles Review. New Game. Here are your stats. Plus 25 points for white privilege. Plus 25 points for your upper middle class liberal arts education. Plus 25 points for having use of all your limbs. Plus 15 points for being straight, but just queer enough to be hip in select social circles privilege. Plus 15 points for your face, which is normal to cute-ish. Minus 5 points for your peanut allergy. Plus 30 points. You have just acquired a new lover. Your lover is disease-free, plus 5 points. Literate, plus 5 points. Has gentle hands and an asymmetrical smile, plus 5 points and 2 points respectively. You did not meet cute. You met at a bar. You never thought you would date someone you met at a bar. You were only there for your coworker's birthday, and you were feeling terribly lonely. All the salespeople were talking about sales, and all the customer support people were talking about customer support. And you'd only started temping the week before, and were the sole person in your office who did your job, which was answering the phone. You came to the party because you didn't know anyone in this town, and your roommate who you found on Craigslist was having a loud fight with her girlfriend in your shared kitchen. You hoped there would be free appetizers at this thing, so you could eat something besides the Mentos you found in your purse, which might have just been old gum. You were leaning against the bar and feeling miserable when the man who had become your lover came over. He said, "You look miserable." It made your skin crawl a little, the whole awkward being humans of compatible sexual orientations in a bar together thing, but you liked his straightforwardness. You said, "I always look like this." A small exchange of honesties. Instead of asking you what you did, he said, "What's your story?" And suddenly, instead of being a temp who answered phones at a plumbing supply company, you were someone who had a story. You thought of this the first time you undressed together, the new narrative of your bare skin in the dark, the warmth of his shoulder between your biting teeth, writing all your stories on each other's bodies again and again and again. Minus 20 points. You begin to think about life in terms of points the day you discover his ex-girlfriend on Facebook. They're in 500 pictures together. 500. You ask and he shrugs and says, "She's a photographer." You examine her photos, all 500 of them sunny-haired and glowing, squinting up at the California sky. She has eyes like swimming pools. Sometimes between 3 and 4 in the morning, you wake up gasping and drenched from dreams that you've fallen right into her eyes and can't get out again. They are so deep and the walls so smooth. Even as a child, you never, minus 10 points, learned to swim in the deep end. Plus 10 points. At work, you do a small thing correctly. The boss comes and stands behind you just long enough to make your armpits crawl with sweat. And the boss speaks in all caps, which you guys can't see, but I love. And then he booms, "What are your career goals?" You jump and he bellows, "You, temp, where do you see yourself in 5 years?" You think of your straightforward lover and blurt, "Not in this chair." The boss snorts into his half-cap latte. He doesn't know your name, and he's not entirely sure what you do, but he informs you that he likes your guff, and you've got the right kind of spunk. Many vaguely Germanic nouns that don't mean anything but imply that you're all right. By the end of the day, you've got a real cubicle and a scribbled name tag torn from a legal pad announcing that you are the social media brand ambassador for the plumbing supply company. Your predecessor, a bored-looking older woman named Flores, hands you a list of passwords on a sticky note and heads to the break room. You log into the company Twitter, make a few plumbing jokes, lead plumbing is the dumps, and gain a handful of followers. A few people from accounting saunter over to tell you that you're funny. One of them, a guy named Chris, quotes you back at yourself. "We're flush with the skills to get the job done," he quips. You say, "Hashtag sounds better on the internet." You try not to notice that he is attractive. Later you realize that of the group, you remember only his name. Plus or minus 120 points. You have had 6 lovers of any significance in your life. At the time you acquired each of them, you chalked them up as gains. And when they left, you thought you'd lost all of your points, every single one, until the next lover came and filled you up again. On the night your new lover proposes to you, you stare into the darkness and think about all of the lovers you will never have now. All of those potential points lost. You total it all up, run your fingers through your points like coins. You wonder if they weigh enough. You wonder what kind of a monster you must be to even consider this. Your lover sighs and throws his arm across your stomach in the dark, and you count each beat of his pulse, telling yourself, "This has value." But in your secret heart, you count each one like a penny, the price of copper rapidly outstripping the imagined concept of 1 cent. Minus 17 points. Your work Twitter passes 500 followers. You tweet that the 1,000th follower will get a free toilet plunger. Accounting Chris stops by your cubicle and asks if you want to get coffee later. Your heart jumps. You make a goal in your planner. Avoid caffeine. You send your lover's ex-girlfriend of the 500 photos a Facebook message from the plumbing company Facebook account. If you're the photographer, how are you in so many of the pictures? She writes back, "Who is this?" You minimize the tab and run to the bathroom, where you sit in the stall and count cinder blocks until your heart lies slow and sluggish once more in your chest. A cutscene. The way your lover proposed was this. He rented a motorboat and took you out on the lake. You knew what was happening from the moment you got in the car. His straightforward grin was crooked with excitement as he insisted, "You've been working so hard, you deserve this day to relax." You didn't tell him that you hate water sports. You were too full of fluttering, of bliss, And something that you didn't want to, minus 10 points for denial, acknowledge was dread. The water was choppy, the wind roared in your ears as he drove you away from shore. You looked at his hands on the wheel and tried to think about how capable they were, and how safe that made you feel. And then you remembered your sex ed teacher in high school exclaiming, "Safe is sexy," and thinking even at the time a virgin, plus or minus 22 points depending, that she was hopelessly naive. Your lover finally stopped the boat for lunch, and the champagne came out of the little bench locker thing, and the glass with the ring on it, and he was on one knee, and the whole time you felt like you were in a play, a bad one, a school play, where you should have been cast as a tree, but somehow got the role of Christopher Columbus, and now everyone was staring at your face and waiting for you to discover America. You said to your lover, yes, of course, because that's what you wanted, isn't it? The waves slapping on the side of the boat. Ring. Plus 500 points. Minus 40 points? You lay awake at night and wonder if there's a casual way to notify your lover's ex-girlfriend that he chose you. At work, you change your profile picture to show a photo of your hand with the ring, and then check her profile, because you read on the internet that Facebook will suggest somebody friend you if you look at their profile several times a day. You've become very familiar with her photos over the last few months, the names of her most active friends. She posts lots of articles about traveling cheaply and homesteading, and in a way, you are almost friends, in the way that people who read People magazine are friends with Taylor Swift and Angelina Jolie, meaning you know where she went to school and what she had for brunch last week, and she, despite your best efforts, doesn't know you exist. You are a rational, plus 7 points, person. You know you are not really friends, and she has no obligation to check in with you before she makes major life decisions. But there's still some part of you that feels unequivocally betrayed when you see her new photo. It's a little printer error. Her arms wrapped around a handsome black man with thick framed hipster glasses and a Fair Isle sweater. They look a little shy, almost embarrassed at the extent of their happiness. Life event, the caption announces, in a relationship. You stare at the photo. You have never dated a man who looked so good in a Fair Isle sweater. You wonder what it would be like to date this man. Feeling cold, you make a small legion of fake Twitter accounts with anagrams of your lover's name, and they all follow the ex-girlfriend. The next time she logs in, there will be a pile of eggs sitting in her notification tab, like it's Easter and someone forgot to bring the colors. Minus 20 points, plus 60 points. In the break room, everyone oohs and ahs over your ring. Accountant Chris gives you a high five, but doesn't meet your eyes. He doesn't ask you to get coffee. You go shopping after work at the fancy grocery store. You buy only things you can't pronounce. At home, you spend hours chopping and dicing and peeling. You julienne, you chiffonade. Your lover is amazed. So this is every day for the rest of our lives, right? He asks, his mouth full of vegan bouillon. I can't actually pronounce this word that I put in this story. Bouillabaisse. You look at him aghast and realize 2 seconds too late that he is joking. He says, "What?" And you say, "Nothing." And he says, taking your hands in his gentle ones, "No, tell me." And you say, "Nothing," so harshly that it startles you both. You try to shake it off and pour more wine, but for the rest of the evening, every laugh feels like a question. But then when you're done doing the dishes, he leans over abruptly and kisses the back of your neck. "You have the most beautiful neck," he says, "a swan, graceful, beautiful neck." Then something inside you melts, and you put down the sponge and turn to kiss him, and he tastes like a whole unpronounceable future of things. Plus 80 points. Your future in-laws are phenomenal. They drive down to the city to meet you, and you all go out for dinner at the fanciest restaurant. You are not used to eating in the fanciest restaurant, and you feel encumbered by the extra forks, the way people keep offering to grind your pepper. Between courses, you scrutinize your lover's parents closely, watching for signs of genetic weakness or insanity. Unlike the parents of every single person you know, his parents are still happily married, absurdly happy. They kiss over dinner, and when his mom gets up to go, as she says, to the powder room, his dad reaches over and pinches her on the ass. "Charles," she cries, blushing. You glance at your lover and are amazed to find him smiling. "Keep it down, you guys," he says. "You'll scare off my fiancé." "We would never," his father says, and his mother, smiling, reaches for your hand. You are not a hand holder, but you've always secretly wanted to be, and you hope you're doing it right. "Look at this," she says. "Look at you two." She squeezes your fingers. She says, "We're so happy he chose you." "Welcome to the family," his father booms. You look at your plate and flush, and somehow feel like it'll work, like all the forks and the pepper are conspiring for your success, this new wealth of warmth and food and detail, a sure inheritance. His mother comes back to the table, and his father kisses her fingers, and your fiancé kisses your fingers, and you have all the points in the world. Then his mother says, "So how soon is too soon to start talking about grandkids?" Minus 20 points. The ex-girlfriend has posted a new album. She and her boyfriend are traveling through Switzerland. There are cafes, brightly colored doors, a pale lump of cheese on a dish on a dark wood table. You stare a long time at a picture of them on the Alps climbing. The camera is nestled on the ground, and it looks like the two of them are disappearing limitlessly into the sky. Error. At the company Christmas party, you drink too much and find yourself at a table with the accountants. You loudly tell Marissa that you don't know if things are going to work out with your fiancé, and the more you drink, the more true it seems. You tell her that he snores, that his sense of humor is bad, that his family is creepy. "I feel like they're all sleeping together," you say, and everyone laughs. When Marissa gets up to get another drink, accounting Chris slides over next to you. The two of you don't speak, but your knees crowd under the table. You banter with other people, you laugh at all the jokes, but the part of you that's speaking feels distant and vestigial. All of your attention is concentrated in the way accounting Chris's shoulder brushes against yours, the warm weight of your hips through your clothes. You can feel him looking at you. You lift your hair from your swan-like neck, pretending to be warm. There's more eggnog and then more. Someone calls for tequila shots. Ronnie from tech support is on the table, bellowing the lyrics of "Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer," and everyone's cheering. He glanced up and into Chris's face, and he's staring at you like you're worth all the points in the world. He walks you out to make sure you get to your car okay, and you feel the weight of this potential disaster hovering silently over your back. It'd be so easy to walk away, to awkwardly blurt, "Thanks," and climb into your car and not make eye contact at work next week. Or you could be like one of those bravely honest people in movies who takes the other person by the hand and says, "I think you're really cute, and we have a lot of chemistry, but I have a fiancé." Just thinking the word fiancé sends you into a panic. You reach out for him, and the two of you fall against your car, ravenous and entwined and drenched in streetlight. "You're drunk," you remind yourself fiercely. You cling to that fact like it is a life jacket, like it will be enough to keep you afloat. Continue or quit. A few hours later, you leave Chris's apartment and walk back to your car. You sit in the driver's seat, silent. You aren't able to drive away yet. Driving away will make this thing have happened, and you're not sure you're ready for it to have happened, or at least not ready to acknowledge that you no longer have a choice in the matter. You texted your fiancé hours ago that the party was running late. Not to worry, you were going to drive home until you sobered up. You toy with your phone now, anxious and drenched in guilt. Does he know? He must know. Your phone must contain 16 messages outlining how you're a terrible person, how you're going to burn in hell and deserve it too, how he and his really lovely parents never want to see you again, and etc. But when you check, you have 0 notifications. You stare at the screen, at your empty text inbox. Is it possible you haven't lost any points for this? Do you really not want to lose any points for this? His ex-girlfriend's Facebook page displays a new photo. She and her perfect black boyfriend are standing on a beach in giant puppy coats, wind-whipped but laughing. An ecstatic golden retriever puppy is abloom at their feet, charging for the camera. The caption reads, "Merry Christmas from us and our new little girl, 98 likes, 34 comments." You thumb to the messages tab. You write that you are a Nigerian prince. You write that you are her long-lost twin sister. You write that you are someone who lost her puppy a week ago, and you're so happy that she found it, and when can you come get it back? But you delete each message before sending it. The night outside the window is one unflinching darkness. You start to write, "How are you in all the photos?" but stop, because the answer is probably a tripod and a timer, and that is not the answer that you want. What you want to know is, how does your life look so perfect? You want to know, did you find a way to get all the points, or just a way to stop counting them? You lean your head against the steering wheel and frost the windshield with your breath. Outside, the sky is beginning to lighten, and soon the parking meters will kick back on. But still you sit, staring at your phone as if it can give you an answer, counting the seconds before this is all right again, counting and counting and counting.